Tiếp theo đây tôi xin được trân trọng kính mời đại diện của giám đốc điều hành Logos Việt Nam, ông Glenn Hughes, với phần trình bày về phát triển logistics xanh và vai trò chuỗi cung ứng thông minh trong khu công nghiệp thế hệ mới.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity for speaking. Your themes today have been about setting up the land for industrial parks. Setting up the land for industrial parks to be the most green and the most sustainable that we can do. What Logos do is focus on the infrastructure that connects between the industrial parks and the port locations, and then inside the industrial parks, how we can make precincts that respond to all of the requirements that we've just been hearing about. It's exciting that we all have similar themes and similar ideas. Trying to keep it simple. As we've heard, it's the efficient transportation that occurs between the ports of entry, seaports or airports, and the industrial park locations. Then what happens inside the industrial park locations, whether it's the smart manufacturing facilities or the smart warehousing facilities, or the combination of both in precincts. So what we've been trying to do in Vietnam is work with industrial parks to create large precincts inside the industrial park that will combination of major manufacturers and their suppliers co-locating and the warehousing and other support systems they need, all within the similar location to minimize the transportation distances, to optimize the sharing of labor and resources and minimizing the transportation of workers each day, as well as giving opportunities then for efficient waste management and resource sharing between and within the precinct, including power generation from the roofs that can be shared with mini networks. So we've been working on this inside Vietnam and from other country experience. It comes down to then what our operators and the factories and the warehouses do inside their precincts, how efficient they can be, how efficient they can be inside their building, the packaging they use, the systems for efficient water use and power use. All these things are obvious and everyone talks on it, but it's very difficult to activate at scale. Obvious benefits, the ESG themes throughout, the environmental benefits of concentrating activities, greening activities, sharing resources, minimizing power and water use. The cost savings and the general economic benefits that come from being more efficient, let alone the environmental benefits. And then, of course, our societies benefit and our local communities benefit for a better planet. We need transformation. We need transition from what the old practices are to the new. Again, today we hear about the land development side, the industrial park development, all the initiative to make more efficient, more green, better infrastructure. But inside the precincts, inside the factories, inside the warehouses, and for the transportation between the ports and the warehousing and the ports and the factories, we need to be able to adopt new technologies. We need to be able to be more efficient in monitoring our power and water use, helping us to guide the ways to be minimizing our use. Technology will then also feed into power use and power sharing between the facilities, as well as then linking into all of matching the regulations and the requirements that are now adopted in Vietnam and globally for net zero and other carbon reduction programs. How to do it? We've heard today, and just before, it's great to hear, we see active examples of trying to make green transport, whether it's a ship, an aeroplane, or a truck that now will be electrified or using more efficient fuel. How do we then optimize and minimize the transportation task? We have good locations for IPs that are nearby ports, but also nearby customers. So we need to focus on those locations with the good connecting infrastructure and the opportunity within the industrial parks to be more intensified in our development. Multi-story development, aggregated clusters, as we spoke about before, let alone the energy generation and the power sharing within the precincts. Also hearing before, the co-location of supply chain gives us the chance for waste management and more circular activity to share resources and to manage the impact across the whole of the supply chain. We talk about clusters, we talk about specialised next generation industrial parks. At Logos, we're happy to have association in other countries of trying to create large-scale intermodal industrial estates and facilities specialised around efficient transportation. In this case, it's called Moorebank in Sydney. We have a connection at the edge of the urban area that allows efficient transport from the seaport onto a train through the urban area without generating congestion and arriving at this hub for containerised goods to be reorganised for distribution to the urban area for e-commerce, or reorganised and put onto road transport for less congested activities and connections to other provinces or states, or manufacturing that allows the containerised transport goods to be value add for re-export. So this is a co-location idea with the specialising around green transport. We're testing, and this one is 250 hectares. It will be 1 million square metres. It's effectively replacing an electric train movements each day are replacing about 150,000 kilometres of truck transport, diesel truck transport each day. So the carbon benefits, the efficiency benefits, the society benefits of less congestion on the roads are all being realised. What we're trying to do in Vietnam is help activate similar concepts. The government and the industrial park networks have been setting up specialised logistic zones. In the north particularly, there's the opportunity for connecting heavy rail from Haiphong and Lac Nguyen port through past Hanoi and then connecting into the cross-Europe rail. So there'll be opportunities for bringing this concept into Vietnam, where you concentrate activity around big transportation nodes. The seaport is obvious. Here in the south, you have Khai Mep. In Da Nang, you have the port system. In Haiphong, Lac Nguyen, you'll have the port system with industrial zones nearby. It's then how to bring the container transport and the container goods to and from that location efficiently. And then finding more efficient ways to bring the goods from the port to nearby the urban area. So we're working on this, trying to adapt our experience from other countries to bring to Vietnam, so we can help activate inside industrial parks that are well located and well connected to infrastructure, multimodal connections, efficiency of operation, minimising of transport movements, lowering of carbon, as well as then bringing general efficiencies for the businesses and the economy. So when it comes down to it, we have trying to activate and show real examples of all of the activities and all of the initiatives we speak about. Bringing concentrated activity into industrial parks, more intense development of factories and warehouse, multi-storey, challenging in Vietnam where you have mix of regulations between fire regulations and building regulations, but we are working on it to bring more intense development and giving us the opportunity then for resource sharing and power generation sharing between the facilities. So beyond that, when we get inside the precincts, inside the industrial parks, as we've seen today, have more awareness of green space, activating community awareness, activating community opportunities. We also bring inside our precincts active gardens, harvest gardens, so that the workers on site can have fresh produce inside the precinct for their cafeterias. We start to bring in community space to our precincts for the worker well-being, let alone all of the technical and other physical infrastructure and power generation benefits that we talk about. Samples of our projects that are coming in Vietnam, multi-story. These ones are 2-level, working with single ramps, but we in Singapore and elsewhere have opportunity and illustrations of higher facilities, 5 and 6 levels. This will come for Vietnam as the demand for well-located, well-connected and efficient operations become more important. Thank you.
Vâng, xin được cảm ơn ông Glenn Hughes với phần trình bày liên quan đến logistics xanh, đặc biệt là những các cái hoạt động và kinh nghiệm trong cái việc nâng cao cái năng lực logistics xanh tại Logo.